Let's maul in the Central Committee. Let's cringe in the Central Committee. Let's bog in the Central Committee right now.
All right, chat. Let's shit on Andrew Yang a little bit. Let's shit on Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang's pro-cop, anti-public education, anti-union, big business-centric platform is not what New Yorkers need. Teen Vogue to the left of half the political streamers on Twitch. Imagine being to the right of Teen Vogue, the teenage fashion magazine. With poll after poll confirming Andrew Yang's lead in New York highly contested mayoral race, the narrative that he may win is crystallizing. Subheadlines from Michelle Goldberg's opinion column in the New York Times and article in the Atlantic proclaim respectively the eccentric entrepreneur turned failed presidential candidate is campaigning on a promise to make the city fun again. It might work. His proposals are radical. He's obsessed with robots and he's never even worked in government. And next year he might be running New York. Oh God. Oh God. I spoke to a group of volunteers for the campaign yesterday, some of whom have been with me for years. Many of them were upset with my recent tweet expressing solidarity with the people of Israel in conjunction with the violence in the region this week that has claimed the lives of innocents and children on both sides. They expressed to me that they follow and support me for a number of reasons. One of is that I am a clear-headed person who follows facts. The other is that I am a human being who stands for universal values of fellowship and goodwill. Felt my tweet was overly simplistic in my treatment of a conflict that has a long and complex history full of tragedies. And yet it failed to acknowledge the pain and suffering on both sides. Both sides! They were, of course, correct. I mourn for every Palestinian life taken before its time, as I do for every Israeli. They can't say one nice thing about Palestinians without mentioning Israel in the same goddamn sentence. I mourn for every Palestinian life taken before its time, as I do for every Israeli. Suffering and pain and violence and death suffered by anyone hurts us all. All the people want to be able to live in peace. We all want that for ourselves and our children. Support of a people does not make one blind to the pain and suffering of others. Again, everyone simply wants to be able to live and pray in peace. And that's what we want as well. I join with millions around the world in praying that the current situation be resolved as quickly as possible, peacefully, and with minimal suffering. For those who have spoken to me on this, thank you. Continue to believe in humanity. This is terrible. Mike, why do you care about Andrew Yang's views on Israel? He's running to be mayor of NYC, not Tel Aviv. Sarcasm. Yeah. We care because he injected himself. Andrew Yang can't explain when asked why he supports Israel bombing Gaza. Aides for the New York mayor hopeful tried to shut down voters in Queens who were outraged by his support for Israeli airstrikes that killed dozens of Palestinians. AOC destroyed him. Utterly shameful for Yang to try and show up to an Eid event after sending out a chest-thumping statement of support for a strike killing 9 children, especially after his silence as Al-Aqsa Mosque was attacked, which is the third holiest site in Islam. But then to try to do that in Astoria during Ramadan, they will let you know.
The organizers of the event,
it's the Al-Aqsa,
decided it would be better if we did not attend, and
not Alaska,
we're happy to abide by their wishes.
Relating to what you tweeted about Israel?
I believe so. You know, I'm not sure, but I believe so.
Do they know what you tweeted about Israel? Chat, being a deranged anti-AOC reply guy is just like sad. All right, just don't do that. Don't be a deranged AOC reply guy that, don't do that. But AOC liked Greta Thunberg's tweet about the situation where she showed sympathy for civilians on both sides. AOCIA. Yeah, I don't like that tweet from Greta Thunberg, quite frankly. I think if you're kind of like a weirdo pacifist who wants to tweet, why can't we all just get along? This is not the place. Fox News created those deranged AOC reply guys with their infatuation. No, but these are also left-wing. If you're a weirdo pacifist going, why can't we all just get along? Violence, let me put flowers in your hair. This is not the time. Okay? One side is being oppressed and bombed. All right? One side has a gigantic military getting billions from the world superpower. All right? This is not the both sides should be peaceful. This is not the time for that. Please stop. Andrew Yang's full-throated support for the Israeli airstrikes on Gaza on Monday was praised by Republicans like Stephen Miller and Senator Ted Cruz, but outraged progressive New Yorkers, including a pair of voters who confronted the candidate to be the city's next mayor during a campaign stop on Queens. I certainly would never ask her for or want their support, says of Ted Cruz. Andrew Yang was confronted in Astoria by a passerby upset over his pro-Israel tweet. Look at this motherfucker get owned. Andrew Yang gets praised by Republicans, heckled in Queens for his pro-Israeli tweet. When pressed to defend his tweet by a woman who was outraged by it, Yang responded only with the vague platitude that what's happening in the Middle East is heartbreaking. It is. People are dying, civilians are dying, children are dying. We all want it to end, Yang said. Then tell Israel to stop! Her response is worth it. Okay.
So that, what do you have to say about your tweet directly to New Yorkers right now?
It's heartbreaking. All of this is happening in the Middle East.
It's heartbreaking, right?
It is. Young people are dying. Civilians are dying.
Do you condemn Israel for that? Do you condemn Israel for their unjust acts against the innocent Palestinians? Sir, I'm talking to
We got
him.
the publicist over here. We got
I'm
the guy
talking
over
to
here
him.
saying,
We gotta go.
don't say anything
Sir,
that's
you're
gonna fuck up
touching
your
me. Please
campaign.
don't
And
touch
that's
me.
why you don't have my vote, and I guarantee you don't have the vote of a lot of New Yorkers.
Sir, I have just one question.
This is the thing about tech bros. Just because someone made a lot of money because of some bubble for a company that no longer exists doesn't mean they know shit. Some guy just made multi-million dollars on Dogecoin. Should he run the fucking world now? Some dumbasses think if you get rich, you should run the world. When a second voter who was filming Yang's response interrupted asked, do you condemn Israel for that? Do you condemn Israel for their unjust acts against the innocent Palestinians? An aide to the candidate stepped in to try to end the exchange. That in turn prompted the woman who began to comment, we got the publicist over here. We got the guy coming in saying, don't say anything that's going to fuck up your campaign. Yang's campaign, which is run by the lobbying firm of Bradley Tusk, a venture capitalist who ran Mike Bloomberg's deflating third mayoral campaign, who recently described the candidate as an empty vessel, did indeed seem to be protecting him from the risk that he might alienate even more voters by continuing to talk about Israel. If Yang is elected, Tusk could essentially be the shadow mayor for New York while he represents the interests of big corporate clients. The executive director of the government transparency group Reinvent Albany recently told the New York Times, like everyone else, I want to see the edge of the bloodshed and violence. You want to see the end of the violence, you have to tell the Israelis to stop. The Israelis are the ones that are stealing land.
I'm not even fucking filming, bro. I don't care about any of this. You want to go out here and say you want to be the mayor of New York? Deal with this. Deal with the people. Deal with the direct contact.
How are we supposed to go
What do
forward
you
like a
have to
mass?
say about your tweet yesterday? Where is your stand? What do you respond to that? Millions of New Yorkers that are offended, literally, and the people that are dying overseas, funded by the American government. We're not going to get into that. What do you have to say about your tweet directly to New Yorkers right now?
It's heartbreaking. All of this is happening.
He ran an organization advising startups on how to succeed. He did not just run one successful startup. So he ran a nonprofit that said, here's some free advice. True. We have to do the same thing to Israel that was done to South Africa. South Africa had an apartheid state with minority rule, and it didn't end until the United States and Europe withdrew their support, and we did boycotts and divestment. And when we did those boycotts and divestment, that's when it ended. That's when their policy of apartheid changed and ended. You have to attack the economic interests of the rich elites, or else they will keep doing it. That's the only way. Or, at the very least, let me give you an alternative to going all the way to sanctions. Condition U.S. military aid. We gave billions of dollars to the Israeli military. We should have a say on whether or not they get that money, depending upon what they do. I feel like not enough attention is being paid to the fact that Andrew Yang is a dumbass who doesn't have the first idea how the world works. True.
Heartbreaking, but it is. It is. People are dying, civilians are dying, children are dying. You condemn Israel for that. You condemn Israel for their unjust acts against the innocent Palestinians. Sir, I'm talking to him. I'm talking to him.
Don't say anything.
Sir, you're touching me. Please don't touch me.
That's why you don't have my vote, and I guarantee you, you don't have the vote of a lot of New Yorkers.
Sir, I have just one question. I'm going to leave. One question. I'm going to leave. Do you condemn Israel for what they did to the Palestinian people while they were praying? Yes or no? Yes or no? I want to see a yes or no question.
Like everyone else, I don't want to see that. It's in the front of us. That is where
He got owned, chat. He got owned. Yang had acknowledged to reporters just before the confrontation a story that a scheduled appearance at a Muslim charity there to mark the Eid holiday had been canceled by the group following his tweet. Yang's tweet was posted one day after Politico New York reported that he was close to locking down almost universal support among leaders of the New York City's ultra-Orthodox Jewish community, a loyal bloc of voters that can make or break a campaign. Another Democratic mayoral candidate, Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams, is competing with Yang for the support of the same community. Minutes after Yang's tweet supporting the Israeli military raid on Gaza was boosted by Stephen Miller on Monday, Adams tried to one-up his rival with a tweet of his own, which also erased the Palestinian victims and portrayed Israel as a blameless victim. Senator Bernie Sanders, meanwhile, offered a clear example of how possible it is to issue a statement that assigns blame for the violent escalation to Israel's far right and the state's attempt to continue to rule over millions of Palestinians denied equal rights in the territories that it has occupied since 1967. I'm extremely concerned by the growing conflict in Israel and Palestine. Once again, we are seeing how the irresponsible actions of government-allied right-wing extremists in Jerusalem can escalate quickly into devastating war. Israeli children should not spend the night scared in bomb shelters, as many are doing tonight. Palestinian children should not have to grow up under constant violence and oppression of occupation, as so many do and have done. And the thing about this is, Bernie Sanders appropriately assigns the blame to the government-aligned right-wing extremists in Israel. The United States must call for an immediate ceasefire and an end to provocative and illegal settlement activity. We must also recommit to working with Israelis and Palestinians to finally end this conflict. And that will only happen if Israel stops their illegal settlement activity. That's the cause. He doesn't deflect to Hamas. He doesn't blame the Palestinians for being oppressed. He brings attention to the far-right extremists. And yes, firing rockets is an ineffective form of resistance. There, I said it. But to me, you don't blame the oppressed people for struggling. You blame the people causing the conflict. We do politics here every morning starting at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. You can watch us here on Twitch. We're the morning guy. The morning politics guy, Politics Frogs, in every single day, same time, 10 a.m., day in, day out, and we carry you through your morning and early afternoon politics needs. And if you need more, Mike from PA, we have a YouTube channel. We talked about suburbs, the My Pillow guy, Ted Cruz. We talked about DSA. Amazing. Making fun of Tim Pool. Amazing. Look at all of these amazing videos. Get in there, watch them. We have me on Twitter. You got to follow me on Twitter, chat. I'm at 20,614 subs. That means I got like 40 followers on Twitter in the last day. You can do better than that. You can do better than that. Go follow us on Twitter. And of course, join the Discord, where we have an incredible community of left-wing streamers. We have left-wing community. We talk about the stream. We talk about politics. There's gaming content. It's a really awesome, supportive place. Direct action, mutual aid, and you can just let off some steam. And also, you can help produce the show. One of the things I do is I look at the links that are put into a news content suggestions chat room on the Discord. Join the Discord, come hang out, and maybe what you want me to talk about will be part of the next show.